Like, oh my God, they finally did it. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are now restored to the status of single. They are divorced. Mazel tov. Congratulations. What an achievement. It only took 8 years. My parents in Connecticut got a divorce that took, excuse me, 8 years. Also about 8 years. It started when I was about 12 or 13 and finished in my early 20s, which is extraordinary. My parents are nowhere near, nor were they ever anywhere near as wealthy, as famous, as well set up as Brad and Angelina. Why do I bother talking about their divorce? What is so interesting about it? We could, although we are not going to, talk about the impact on the six children. We could talk about his admissions about potential alcoholism. We could discuss whether or not she has a dramatic flair and whether or not she's more of an Amber Heard actress type in the public eye and what she might really be like at home. We could do all of those things. But really, what I'm interested in is discussing and exploring whether or not a divorce should take 8 years. Should a divorce even take a year? Should a divorce take 3 weeks? Should a divorce take 2 years? I say it all the time. Every case is unique. No two divorce cases are alike. There are many reasons for that. One of the reasons is that everybody lives a different life. Most people have different jobs, different finances, different savings, different levels of friendship and compassion for their spouses, as opposed to animosity and hatred and disdain and discomfort, trust versus mistrust, the intention of settling versus spoiling for a fight at any cost, no matter what, spare no expense. Divorce can last for a very long time. I've never heard of a divorce case in the state of Florida lasting for more than a few years. I've never been a part of one that lasted for more than 3 years. I'm not quite sure what that says about me versus what it may say about other attorneys or the system at all at large. Maybe Brad and Angelina's situation is unique to California, unique to celebrities, unique to people worth hundreds of millions of dollars. There's a lot to unravel there. Of course, businesses change, valuations change, opinions from the children change, opinions from guardians ad litem might change, hearing after hearing after hearing after hearing. The business valuations, just as much as the appraisals of the real property, can grossly impact the outcome of a divorce. What astonishes me even more about their divorce is based upon what I've read and heard, their divorce ended with a settlement. A settlement after 8 years? Honest to goodness, what took you so long? What were you waiting for? What epiphany did you have that you thought instead of paying millions of dollars in legal fees, dragging our children through ever never ending drama, tabloid drama, social angst, and everything that goes along with the psychological issues that somebody can develop as a result of being caught in the crossfires of a divorce at their age, what finally led them to finalize? What triggered it? Was it a vineyard? Was it a new movie role? Was it some shocking revelation that getting divorced for 8 years puts a bit of a hamper or a bit of some sort of a crossroads, or I'm sorry, some sort of a damper on your dating life? This is extraordinary to me. So let's ask the question in a different way. How long should a divorce take? If a divorce is uncontested, we have achieved it in as little as about a month and a half. I know that some attorneys tell clients, we'll have it done for you in a week, no problem. Except for that pesky statutory rule that you have to wait 20 days from the date of filing to get a final judgment, or else your whole case might be overturned and you might have it appealed and everything can be set aside and all of the work for nothing, aside from that pesky rule and the fact that you still need to rely on the clerk of court, have your case actually filed, have all the documents taken care of, and have the judge approve of your final judgment. If all of those stars are aligned, no pun intended, Brad and Angelina, if all of those stars are aligned, maybe your divorce will be done in just a few weeks, maybe a couple of months. if all goes according to plan. A contested case, however, follows certain deadlines. Those deadlines take time. Suppose Jacob's law firm files a petition for dissolution of marriage on behalf of client Andrew. Client Andrew files his petition. It is docketed by the clerk 3 days later. A summons is issued 5 days later. Not an uncommon time frame. Of course, let's actually take a step back in time. A week to 2 weeks of document preparation, approval from the client, notarization of documents, filing, and all of this. So now we're up to 2 to 3 weeks. And suppose that the other party does not want to be served and they are somewhat evasive when we need several rounds of service. Maybe now we're up to about 3 to 4 weeks. The other party is finally served. We've done everything we can in coordination with the process server. The other party has been personally, individually, or substitute served. The case is on. The game is on. Action is happening. Except for the fact that they now have 20 days to answer or file a motion to dismiss. A motion to dismiss could delay your case for additional months. Filing an answer and/or a counter petition means that you then, if there's a counter petition, have to answer that counter petition. We could be up to a month and a half or 2 months now. And now we begin working on mandatory disclosures. The rule is typically 30 to 45 days, maybe a little longer depending on your jurisdiction, depending on the venue where your case is being litigated. If that is the case, then maybe now we're up to 3, maybe 4 months, maybe 5. Are you exchanging settlement offers? Is there going to be a hearing for temporary relief? So many different factors are at play. Typically, mediation happens between months 5, 6, and 7 in a case. If the case is not resolved at mediation, then additional things happen, additional disclosures, discovery mechanisms. So many things are going on. There could be depositions. There could be yet another hearing. There could be case management conferences. By the time everything is concluded, perhaps an entire year has passed, perhaps even more. And if an entire year has passed and finally somebody notices their case for trial, nothing can be resolved or only some of the issues can be resolved, the court might set that trial out for 3 to 6 months later, depending on the court's calendar. Now we're talking a year and a half as perhaps an average length for getting to trial in a dissolution of marriage case that follows a traditional pattern of litigation. That's extraordinary. File for divorce January 1st, 2025. Finish your divorce July 1st of 2026. That seems like forever. Except what I have not told you is that the other side might want to delay. The other side might want to procrastinate. The other side might not want to get a divorce. They might file additional motions. They might object to trial being or the case being ready for trial. Anything can happen during that time frame. Maybe somebody gets sick. Maybe the parties decide to abate their case and work it out temporarily. The cost of a divorce can rise exponentially the longer it goes on. The more litigation, the more expensive the divorce. So why do it? Why go through it? If you have an uncontested divorce and you rely on competent counsel, you might only require one lawyer, one fee, one time, and that's it. Why spend 10 to 20 to 30 times as much fighting over the same assets and liabilities that you could have already resolved from the start? Why, in the name of all that is holy, did Brad and Angelina fight for 8 years only to settle in the end? At some point, maybe their friends told them, this isn't going to help your life. It's over. It's time to move on. Everything's done. Everything should be settled. Get on with your life. Imagine that that is close to a decade. 8 years is not a decade, I can count, but that is so close. Imagine starting a divorce in 2025 and finishing in 2033? Does that not sound completely disproportionate and out of bounds? That's longer than some NFL careers. That's longer than some sports dynasties. That is just an enormous amount of time. So when you are thinking about how to proceed with your divorce if you find yourself in that situation, consider carefully not just the financial expense, that time deficit. If you start a divorce at 35, do you want to finish at 43? If you start a divorce at 48, do you want to finish when you're 51? Imagine what the difference in your life will be between those times.